What's up? What's up? What's poppin'? Snake Dog 916 coming at you live from Sacramento. All right, y'all, we had to catch you in these last minutes of 916 day, man, or 916 day, however you want to say it, and tap in with you with another podcast, man. If you don't know, now you know. Sessions with Sandman got a new video uploaded yesterday on Nate Dog 916. We also got I dropped another video this morning on Nate Dog 916 about preconceived notions. Y'all go check that out, man. Log, subscribe, subscribe, and leave a comment. First and foremost, good morning, Sandman.
Morning, Nate. How you doing?
Oh, shit, I'm good, man. You already know, making it happen. I don't even know what episode it is, but I know it's another one.
I just know it's September 17th.
It's the last minute to 9:16 over here. September 16th. So, yeah, that's the date we gonna put on. That's the date. Like I said, that's the date we putting on this motherfucker. It's 9:16 because I clocked in at 10:30 on 9:16. Therefore, it's not 9:17 until the fucking sun comes up.
All right, fine, old man, fine.
So, like I said, youngster, it's 9:16 day, which would be Hood Day in my town, so everybody should have been spreading. But we wanted to come on here and get this podcast popping, and the subject matter of the day is, Sandman, open the envelope, please. Books.
Reading material.
Literature.
Yeah.
Literature.
Something
Knowledge
put
on paper. So anybody out there who's listening, just feel free to come on and call in and hit us up, whatever, DM us, hit us, tell us what you want to come on and talk about, first of all. But we're going to get into the books that make people think the way that I think, and the books that may make Sandman think the way he thinks, like coloring books and alphabet books.
Yeah. I like to save the menus from kid restaurants.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So every convict is going to tell you to read the 48 Laws of Power and Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Every convict is going to tell you this because these are books that every convict reads. However, me, Nate Dog 916, would tell you to, instead of reading just these books and thinking you know everything, pick up a Psychology 101 course.
Oh, that's good.
Pick up a course I took on drug abuse and drug addiction called Uppers, Downers, and All Arounders. It basically breaks down all the drugs and how they affect human bodies. And it helps you to understand drug addicts better. And the Psychology 101 helps you to understand how the human brain works. And when it comes to trauma and other things. And then when you do go read books like, I don't know, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, or the 33 Strategies of War, right, or 33 Strategies of War, the Art of Seduction, all Mastery. These books. Yeah, Mastery. Here's the thing, in all these books, don't get me wrong, these are really good books, as long as you know how to use them. See, one person would take one book and try to apply that book to his life, but don't know how to really apply it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you get to the point where you can, and I'm not saying I'm a master of anything, I'm just a jack of a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that, what do they say, jack of all trades, master of none?
I was going to say that, but...
So, I've studied all of Robert Greene's books, a couple Howard Zinn books. And when I say Howard Zinn wrote a book called The Real History of the United States. And then I read a book called Behold the Pale Horse. And of course The Art of War. And I took a psychology course, and I took the drug course, and I dealt with people from so many different avenues of life, and put all of this stuff that I've learned in my past into practical application to see how it works.
Mhm.
And I believe that in the wrong hands, a brain like mine could be dangerous to people. Let's put it like that. Not that I'm smarter than anyone. I just think that when I put my mind to certain things, I can do whatever I want. I believe that. I really believe that.
Yeah.
I believe I can talk. I can sit and talk with any group of people about anything and fit right in. It doesn't matter who it is.
But that's a rare feat. Not many people can do that.
Right. And like I was at a coffee house yesterday. I said this earlier in my live. I was at a coffee house yesterday, and me and my buddy were talking. Me and a guy I mentor. Or let me not say mentor. Me and a guy I inspire. So I'm his inspirational coach. Let's put it that way, right? Because my story inspires him. But what he doesn't realize, and what a lot of my subscribers don't realize, is the ones that say that I inspire them, is that they inspire me to keep wanting to do the stuff I'm doing. So we're helping each other out.
It's give and take, Tulane Road.
Absolutely. But like he said, we were sitting there, and there was an old white man sitting behind me, and an older white woman sitting on the other side of that white man. And I was telling him how, in his line of work, he has to be able to talk to anybody about anything at any time. That all comes with what he does for a living, which is sell insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Life insurance. I said, but if you can apply that, but then when you come back to regular life, you have to change back into regular you. But he doesn't. But I'm saying most people do. Well, the thing is me, I'm like this all the time. Whether I'm at work, on this, at home, I'm always the same. I can always function at the same level. I always function at the same level. It doesn't take, it's like some people are like, it takes too much energy to do that. No, what? No. It doesn't take
more
energy
to change your personality.
Yes.
You have to remind yourself, I'm speaking this way, I'm with this person.
Right.
Person.
Right. And when people say they can, okay, so now let's not get me wrong. I can fit in anywhere, but I'm going to stand out everywhere.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So,
no, it makes perfect sense. You stand above the crowd, literally.
Right. No matter where I'm at, I'm going to stand out even when I fit in. So, and I told him, even this old man behind me, I can turn around and start a conversation with him, and he'll think it's the most normal thing in the world.
Well, but that's because it's two old men having a conversation now.
Oh, you got jokes early in the morning. Right. We could talk about Metamucil and fiber pills. Right. Yeah. I got you. Right. But so then I did. I turned around and I started a conversation with this random stranger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just, how you doing? Good morning. Obviously the regular start to a conversation, right? And me and this man talked for 20 minutes.
Oh, damn. What?
About just stuff. We started out talking about my shirt. I had one of the Big Boy clothing shirts on. It started out about the shirt. Then it went talking about internet and how he's too old for social media. And then I explained to him how he's never too old. You never know who he might be able to connect with, old people from school or whatever. Then it went to talking about pets.
Texting?
And then it went to pets.
Spell
it. And then it pet. How do you spell pet? P-E-T-S?
Oh, no, it sounded like you were saying text. T-E-X-T.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh. And then it went to talking about how big business is making it hard for little business to survive in America. Like the conversation went, and then just like I went into telling him that just like everything, things take a life of their own. like the nuclear program. The nuclear programs in each country weren't designed to make bombs from the beginning.
Oh,
they were designed to be a sustainable kind of energy.
Like power plants.
Yeah, like power plants. And then they end up finding out that they can use the whatever, I don't know, nuclear physics like that, but use whatever they were going to use to make the plutonium or whatever to make bombs. Well, then they decided to weaponize it, and it became a program for making bombs. Like, you have to come with progress or you get left behind. But my point was like, I just sat and had that 20-minute conversation with this random person, and I'm pretty sure that old man was impressed that I was able to keep up with this conversation.
Well, that, and like your video of preconceived notions, I'm sure he had previous thoughts. I mean, were your tattoos showing or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. They were all showing.
I'm pretty sure he was impressed and probably relieved to find out that not everything's as it appears.
Exactly, and I'm so glad that I can show people the pages instead of the cover when looking at a book.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because you like you said before, you can't always judge someone by the book. You have to see what's inside first, man. Sometimes you might be surprised, man. You really might.
Mhm.
You know, but as far as books, back to books. I'm sorry. That all those books combined can make you a very smart person, but can make you a very dumb person too. Well, and I say that,
No, you were gonna say? I was gonna ask. Explain what you mean by dumb.
Okay, and I'm gonna say that because when you have people who don't know how to practically apply books, like those books, those power books, which they're all considered power books to me. If you don't know how to use that power, you become too literal and you start living your life only designed by those books.
And when you say literal, how many times have you seen people you can actually tell what chapter they're on, like when they start applying?
Absolutely. Many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched someone trying to put forth a law or using part of an art, and I'd be like, what? You're actually doing exactly like word for word what the book says to do.
They're not picking parts out. They're not picking, okay, well, this works for my personality, that works for my personality. We can combine this.
They haven't learned to practically apply it. You're trying to do it how the person gave the example in the book, how Napoleon Bonaparte did it. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
It's too obvious.
Yeah, and I mean, you can, and it'll work for some feeble-minded people.
Well,
you know what I mean? But when you come across people like me, it's going to be like, really, man? You really trying to use the laws of power on me? Like, okay.
It could be amusing. If you're bored, you could play with it.
And I've okay, so perfect example. Not that long ago, I had a dinner. I had a dinner. We had a dinner for my niece, right?
Mhm.
And somebody came to that dinner, and let me say this disclaimer: no disrespect to my nephew, love him to death, right?
Mhm.
But his wife came to the dinner too, and she and this is not my blood nephew. He's like my adopted family. So, you know what I mean? I don't want my blood nephew to think I'm talking about him because I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
But he listens to my podcast, I know for sure. But this other young man, and he married this young lady. And this young lady is one of those young ladies that she's pretty much well-bred. Let's put it that way. Not bred. She's got good breeding. At least it appears that she has good breeding to the unconscious observer. But when you have someone like me come into the room, then little holes start to appear in the arbor. And I'm the type that don't try to talk. Well, don't try to talk down to me, because then I'm going to expose your little holes and see if I can make them wider.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what happened. She said something like, And mind you, she's younger than me. But she saw the tattoo. Oh, obviously, she's my nephew's wife. But she sees the tattoos, and she's probably heard a couple stories from my nephew or whatever. And she's probably got this idea of who I am, right? which is always cute, right? When people hear, when they hear, oh, this guy did this is my uncle, he was with the shit or whatever, but not realize that that's just one part of who I was. And I'm like a guy, but I got a bunch of facets.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You got a whole tool belt.
Yeah, come on, man. That's just one tool I used in my life, man. And but basically, I ended up shutting her down. Like everything she would say, I dissected all and hit her back like boom, 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 bam. Like every time she threw a jab, I death up under and two-piece her, right? Every time. And even my sister-in-law was looking at me like,
that's
like
enough.
Proud. Like, thank you. Like, because a lot of people don't get it. And my niece was laughing because she's a fool. She's she's gonna be listening to this podcast too. But she's a fool and she was laughing. But they all seen how I was just cooking her, and I was just laughing like, come on, man, this is too easy. This child's play to me. She thinks she really doing something. To me, I'm just warming up my weapon. I ain't even really got in, and I ain't even hit the gas yet. I'm just letting it idle.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But that just goes to show you that some people think they're so. That's what I'm saying. Some people can think they're so smart. That's what makes them stupid, because they don't even know when they're outmatched until they're outmatched.
Yeah, and when they do that kind of stuff, and then when they're getting cut down, did she realize it herself?
Oh yeah, she got quiet.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes they just get louder and louder, or they take it as disrespect or something.
All right, what makes it funny to me is where somebody will read a book, like say the 48 Laws of Power, right?
Mhm.
Not knowing, because sometimes you can read a book and get all this knowledge from this book and not think nobody else around you knows about this book, right?
Yeah.
And then try to blah, 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 like you just so proficient at this book. And you can rock like that for your whole entire life, right? Until you run into somebody, until you run across somebody who really does know that book. Because you might have read, like because you have a couple of the books.
Mm-hmm.
In the front of the 48 Laws of Power, at every chapter, they have a synopsis of what the chapter's about. So they have a small, compared to the breakdown of each law, there's a small little what the basic law is and what it means, just in the table of contents.
Yep. They got them in all those books almost.
Right.
Everything.
And then you go in and you read the whole breakdown of the law, how it was applied, how it worked for certain people in history.
Examples and the dangers.
Yes,
and all
examples. Yeah, you get all that. And then you get the fucking breakdown, the science breakdown of it. And then you look in the if you look in the margins, you get even more information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you take the person that only studied that table of contents and rocked their whole life with that, and then they run into the person that studied the stuff in the margins and every little asterisk and looked in the table of contents and looked in the index and looked everything and actually spent years studying books like this. And it makes that person look stupid.
Well, of course, it's going back to one of the books. It's mastery over a subject. You're basically now qualified to teach what's in that book.
Right.
And now this is a student coming against a master, and we all know how that ends.
Right. And to me, it's amusing. And like I've even come across, I've had conversations with millionaires, right?
Mhm.
No bullshit. I sat and had a conversation with a man who has played with millions throughout his lifetime, millions on top of millions, and outmatched him verbally and intellectually. And that's just because you know how to make millions in your lane, that one lane, then I can talk and speak in every lane. So don't try to talk down to me, because then you ignite something in me.
Well, it's a challenge.
And you're like, what? And then I'm like, what? Nah, that's not how that goes, though. And then when people try to just push it and they be saying the wrong shit, like, but nah, that is not what Confucius said. That's not what Confucius said when he meant that.
It's not Confucius anymore. It's not Confucius anymore. It's Fu Manchu. Don't you remember?
Right. and that's what it'll be, right? It'll be somebody literally commuting somebody with a quoting somebody with a Fu Manchu instead of actually quoting Confucius.
Exactly what I did the other day.
Right, and then it's like, come on. It's like, come on. If you guys are going to study and you want to be intellectual, you have to study.
Well, it's also an ego thing with people because, like, if I don't know something, I'm just going to say I don't know. I'm not going to ask and sit on it and be like, and try and make a fool out of myself. Well, not you're going to make a fool out of yourself. And it's better if you know someone knows it's better just to say, I don't know, listen to what they have to say, and take something away from that conversation. And make something that it should never be turned into. But it's an ego trip, and people have them.
Yeah, but that's ego. But my thing is, like, the best thing I can say to our listeners, man, if you want to be an intellectual person, start reading.
Yeah, definitely.
Read, please, read. I know it doesn't sound. Look, anybody can get Kindle on their phone, man. Get you a Kindle, man. Something.
Audiobooks too.
Audiobooks, yeah. If you have the attention span for
audiobooks,
you'll be surprised what you can learn just by absorbing books.
Yeah.
And you know, if you don't like what we're talking about and you don't like the books we're talking about, cool. Find the books that apply to your life and apply to what you want to be and how you want to think. Find forward thinkers on your path. You know what I mean? Me, I want to understand people, so I like psychology.
Me too.
You know what I mean? I like what psychology does. So I read when I do decide to read, it's something that has to do with some kind of psychology.
And I think I have somewhere. I still think I have that Psychology 101 book.
Yeah, somewhere. That's the basic one. Everybody got to read that one.
Well, isn't that also basic college curriculum too?
Yes, absolutely.
I have it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, if you're gonna start trying to get intellectual, and you want your brain and your vocabulary to grow, read.
Yep.
That's how I did it. I didn't go to school. I read.
And you have a better education than if you did go to the.
Right. I'm pretty much self-taught in a cell. And if we all test against each other, I bet you I test a lot better than a lot of people that have degrees.
Probably because, well, it depends if they test you on the history they taught in the public high schools and all that.
General education testing.
General education testing, not special.
Yeah, that's. I mean, generally, I think I can out-test. And put it this way, I think I can out-test anybody if you give us the same curriculum to study from. You know what I mean? I don't care.
All right. Well,
the best somebody can do is the best. The look at other guys is the best somebody's gonna do is tiny.
So,
we're all gonna get A's. Okay.
What?
I said we'll all get an A. Okay.
Oh, so you said we're all gonna get AIDS. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why would I be talking about AIDS? But we're talking about a book. Let's keep your sex life out of this conversation.
I have a fucking cat banging on the window, and then I'm trying to listen to you.
You have cat. Did you say Cat in the Hat is banging on the window?
No, I have a cat banging up. Can you hear that?
No, I can't hear a cat banging on the window.
Next time she jumps on the screen, I'm going to walk over there, and you're going to see what I'm dealing with. But sorry for the...
Oh, it's all right. We need a little bit of levity. It's a little bit serious. But we'll go ahead and close this one off anyway. Those are the books we read. Those are the thing is, whatever you're going to read, make sure it applies or you know how to apply it. Thanks for tuning in for the podcast. We'll try to get more out to you guys soon. Nate Dogg 916 out.